Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. So it's been about 4 weeks since my IB results video. If you haven't watched the video, kindly check the video out. Link in the description box below or tap here. So I got a 41 and surprisingly it was the highest ever in my school. My juniors congratulated me and some even personally DM me for tips and advices on how to survive IB and how to get a 40 plus point. As a result, I decided to open a Q&A on Instagram as a way to give back to my community, my juniors and future IB students. A disclaimer though, this video may be long, so kindly check out the timestamps in the description box or the pinned comment so that you can skip to questions you are specifically curious about. Well then, let's get started with the video. So the first question, any tips for first year students? Number 1, research university requirements. This is very important so that you can know what subjects to choose for your HL and SL subjects. Number 2, choose your subjects wisely, which is according to your university major requirement. Number 3, don't overestimate yourself. Choose subject that you can enjoy and can manage as your HL subject. Another tip is during your first year, if you don't enjoy a subject or if you feel that subject is too difficult for you, quickly change to another subject. This will reduce your chance of moving to another subject during your second year, which will be much more harder than changing subjects during the first year. General tips and tricks in surviving IB. So the first one, it might sound a little bit cliche, but it works. Don't procrastinate too much. So start doing your work little by little or else you will suffer on the second year. Number 2, create your own summary after finishing a chapter. This will help you revise for the mock exam and IB exam. As a substitute, you can find revision guides online for each subject. This revision guide can summarize the key points for each chapters for you and you don't need to make your own summary if you can find it. Number 3, work together with your friends. Help each other to survive IB together. Having a mindset that you're in the IB journey together will surely help you become more motivated to survive the IB diploma program together. Your friends are going to be your support system when you feel like the workload is too much and you're too stressed out. How can I get a 7 in a subject and is it hard to get it? It's always possible to get a 7 as long as you choose the correct subject choices, enjoy the subject you chose, and work hard. Not only for the IB exam but also for the coursework. The coursework can boost your final grade in case you mess up the exam. Next question, I'm curious about how you got a 40 plus total points. Do you have any tips? I'll explain the tips in sections, so make sure to check the timestamps in the description box or the pinned comment. The first section is IAs, how to score well in IA. Number 1, don't have a mindset that IAs are not important just because it's only a small percentage of the final grade. Who knows, you will end up like my batch, May 2020, and having your final grades only based on your coursework. So my advice is do your best for it. Number 2, download the syllabus guide. These are widely available online. In the syllabus guide, you can see the assessment criteria and rubric for each coursework. This can guide you to make your coursework as good as possible and reach the highest possible score. You don't need to read the whole syllabus guide, just find the assessment criteria. Number 3, read the chapter in the textbook, which is specifically made for IAs. This can guide you better because it will break down the rubric in the syllabus guide. and the IAs for each subjects are different, so make sure to check that chapter in your textbook. Number 4, download IA examples from online websites such as the IP official website, which is IP Publishing. Those examples can help you to know the structure of a good IA, and they also provide IAs with a high score and a low score, so you can compare them to know why this IA got a high score while the other IA got a lower score. Does the difficulty level of an IA topic really affect its overall score? I would say it doesn't really matter whether the topic is difficult or easy. What matters is whether you can execute your topic well or not. My suggestion is to choose a manageable topic that you can achieve with the resources you have. Don't take huge risk by choosing a topic that's very difficult, but you end up having a hard time collecting the data and the resources to back up your research. The second section is subject-specific tips for exams and IAs. Do you have any tips when studying business management? Tips for economics higher level exam and IA. So for the exams, the very important tip is to study from past papers. So there are websites online that allows you to access IP past papers. By trying to do the past papers and reading the mark scheme, you will know how to maximize the score by answering using the structure that is wanted by the mark scheme. So every subject has their own way of answering exam questions. For economics, you can see that the structure of getting a high score in answering the essay questions requires a structure like definition, explanation, example, graph, and a conclusion. Some questions also require you to give the positive and negative impacts. For business management, there's quite a little bit of difference. The mark scheme requires you to write the definition, explanation in the context of the case study. Some questions require positive and negative impacts, and you sometimes also require a conclusion for longer questions. So please check the mark scheme of past papers once in a while to learn how to maximize your score. The next tip is to find revision guides. As I mentioned before, revision guides will surely help you because it's already a very summarized key points of each chapter, so you don't need to revise the whole book again. So for the IA, economics IA tips, the general tips I've mentioned earlier, but for the in-depth tips and advices, I will try to make a video specifically on how to get a 7 in economics IA, so stay tuned for the video. Next, PMIA and TOK presentation. So again, I've explained the general IA tips. However, for PMSL, my advice would be to choose a topic in which the secondary data or resources are widely available online, and try to make your research question as focused as possible because the word limit for PMSL IA is only 1,500 words, which is very short compared to other IAs. How to know if our work is good enough? This is a very good question. First, compare your work to the rubric in the syllabus guide or the one you can find in the textbook. Number 2, revise, and revise until the very last minute. Proofread your IAs and don't ever feel that you've done enough, because sometimes you may misspell words and you may put the wrong numbers in the data. Make sure you pay attention to the details. For TOK presentations, I'll explain in the next section. So the third section is EE and TOK. EE writing and TOK tips. General EE tips include firstly, choose a topic you'll enjoy writing so that you won't feel that EE is like a torture, and make sure that there are enough resources about your topic online, and I suggest you to find journals related to your topics because it's more credible than websites. Number 2, choose an EE supervisor that you can be comfortable with and you have trust in that EE supervisor to guide you during your EE writing process. Number 3, find the extended essay textbook. You can find it online. I've read this textbook, and this textbook has helped me to learn specific aspect from criterion A to criterion E. Number 4, find the subject-specific guide for EE online. This is because every EE subject is quite different. Number 5, revise until you feel like there's no more to revise. Never be satisfied with what you write and proofread all the time before submitting. So for TOK, my tips for TOK essay: number 1, choose the prescribed title that you understand the best. So the moment you see it, you will immediately think of ideas on how to answer the prescribed title. Number 2, find the rubric in the syllabus guide and try to include all the components required in the rubric, and this will guarantee that you'll get a higher score. Number 3, make your essay understandable, so don't make it too complicated. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Number 4, find strong evidences that can back up your argument. For TOK presentation, my tips are: number 1, choose a controversial topic that can be explored in many different perspectives, and make sure that there is enough resources on the topic. Number 2, find the rubric of the presentation in the TOK syllabus guide and make sure that you achieve the requirements in the rubric. Do you recommend doing your EE in Indonesian A? So in my opinion, if you love Indonesian literature, then why not? So I did an EE on my favorite book, which was Dylan, 1990, and surprisingly it got an A even though it's actually a teenage fiction. So I believe as long as you enjoy your topic, you'll have fun writing your EE, and I believe it can help you score a higher grade. So the next topic I'm going to discuss is CAS. The next question I received was about CAS projects, but I clarified it with my junior and she said she's asking about CAS experience. So what experiences did you choose to do and how did you make time for it? I did many poster and campaigns, joined competitions, and I also did community service like going to the nursing home, stuff like that. So how did I make time for CAS? My first tip is plan your CAS timeline first so that you'll know that during this period you need to do at least one CAS and you have a clear goal of how many CAS you want to achieve. Number 2, do any CAS during your free time. Small CAS such as learning how to do nail art can also count as CAS experiences, so make sure to use your free time well during your IP journey. Number 3, make a lot of CAS experiences during the school holiday. Very important tip. During the holiday, you will collect many CAS evidence. The next topic I'm going to discuss is motivation, workload, and mental health. So the question is there a lot of work? And if yes, is there still time for me to rest? So the answer is yes, there is a lot of work in IB. However, of course, you will still have free time. Like you can still go out with your friends, watch Netflix, Korean dramas, play games, stuff like that. But as long as you finish your daily assignments. So the next 2 questions are quite similar. How can I get a good score but still have my sanity? How did you balance taking care of your mental health and getting good scores? So my tip is set a target for yourself. As an example, by today I will have to at least make the introduction of my IA. Then after I achieve my target, I can enjoy my time by watching an episode of Korean dramas. This can make sure that you don't get too stressed out because you are rewarding yourself after doing work. Next question, will I be depressed if I take the IP? There will be times when you feel like the workload is too much or you want to give up, but I don't think it will be too bad until you'll have depression. For my personal experience, I almost had a breakdown when I found out that my ESS and Math IA hypothesis were rejected. But I still pursued my IA topic until the end, and rather than faking the IA data, I chose to keep the hypothesis as the way it is. And in the end, my Math IA got a 6 and my ESS IA got a 7. So I believe that it will all end well as long as you tried your best. Next question, how do you escape the IPPTSD? So faith was what helped me to overcome the IPPTSD. Here's my mindset. What's the point of being stuck in the past? So the IB result has come out and nothing will change unless you ask for a remark. Well, overall, my tip will be to think of your results as a part of God's plan. You did your best, so let God do the rest. Next question, how do I stay motivated even when I'm super tired? So my advice would be to stick your goal somewhere around your room, or you can post a sticky note on your laptop saying that I will survive IB and get a 40 plus score. This will always remind you when you feel tired, and this will keep you motivated. So as a closing, the last question is, have you regretted something during the IP program? What was it? So number 1, I did too many CAS experiences that the timeline overlaps each other, and I feel like it's very pointless to do too many CAS. So just do enough CAS experiences so that you won't waste your time writing the reflections, the journal, and finding the evidence for the CAS experience. Number 2, revise the chapters of your textbook occasionally so that during the mock exam or the IP exam, you won't need to revise the whole book again. There won't be enough time. That's all from me. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Stay tuned for tips on how to get a 7 in Economics IA and ESS IA, and also how to get an A in your EE. Bye guys!